Cell culture refers to the removal of animal cells from tissues or organs and placing them in a suitable medium for growth. Animal tissue culture is a general term used to refer the culturing of cells or group of cells from animal origin. When the intact organs or organ fragments are grown on a formulated medium for studying their growth and functioning, it is known as organ culture. If the cells from any tissue or organ are dispersed and grown on a medium, it is referred to as animal cell culture. Culturing of animal cells was first introduced by Ross Harrison in 1907. He grew nerve tissue from frog embryo on a lymph clot. Mammalian cell culture technology developed to a great extent between 1940 and 1950. Earle developed first continuous cell line from mouse tissue in 1943. Mammalian cell culture technology among the animal cell culture has developed tremendously as it has wide applications in the field of human health. Cells from humans, monkeys, insects and numerous other biological systems have been grown on artificial medium. These cells are cultured to study the process, functions, developmental stages and activities going on inside the cell. Major applications of cell cultures for research are the study of cell metabolism, cell cycle, cell signaling, cell adhesion and motility, interaction of hormones and receptors, cytotoxicity, mutagenesis, senescence and immortalization, genetic analysis and manipulation, cancer research. Animal cells are cultured at large scale for the production of monoclonal antibodies, therapeutic drugs, antiviral vaccines, artificial skin, interferons, T plasminogen activator, blood clotting factors, hormones and many more products for healthcare. Animal cells can be grown in vitro only if we simulate the physiological and chemical environment of cells in vivo. To initiate any cell culture, we need to provide all these set of conditions through equipments and apparatus, culture conditions, establishment of primary culture. First, the equipments and apparatus. Suitable equipments are required for providing optimum conditions for growth of the cell cultures. Laminar airflow hood or biosafety cabinets. Laminar airflow hoods are the safety cabinets designed in a way to exclude contamination from the environment. It operates by maintaining a positive air pressure of filter sterilized air on the working bench to provide aseptic conditions. Carbon dioxide incubator. Cell cultures are grown in incubators which can maintain temperature, gas phase and humidity as required by the cells. Regulation of carbon dioxide levels is a very crucial requirement for cell cultures. Inverted microscope. Inverted microscopes are used for observing the cell cultures. The light source and condenser are placed on the top and the objectives are placed below the stage to observe the cells in natural conditions. Besides these essential equipments, some other routine laboratory equipments like centrifuge, water bath, autoclave, deep freezer for cryopreservation are used. Animal cells can be grown in petri dishes, Raux bottles or transparent multi-well plates. These vessels provide substratum for adhesion of cells. Culture conditions. The cells in any animal are nourished by the nutrients present in the blood and the environment created by the metabolic pathways. Presence of oxygen and carbon dioxide also is essential for cell survival. The essential conditions required for cell growth are gas phase, physiological conditions and the chemical requirements. The gas phase includes oxygen and carbon dioxide. Physiological conditions include pH, temperature, osmolality and buffering. The chemical requirements include the culture medium in which we have balanced salt solution, energy sources, amino acids, vitamins, hormones and growth factors, proteins and polypeptides, antibiotics and serum. Gas phase, oxygen. Oxygen is provided to the cells in vivo conditions by the hemoglobin. Cellular growth in culture depends on the dissolved oxygen available in the medium. The concentration of oxygen should be controlled carefully because toxic free radicals may be generated at the higher concentrations. Cells vary in their oxygen requirement. Some cells like human tumor cells and lung fibroblasts require oxygen content lesser than atmospheric concentration. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide plays a complex role in the cell culture environment and the medium also. It dissolves in the medium and influences the pH. H2O plus CO2 reversibly gives you H2CO3, which further reversibly gives you H positive ions and HCO3 negative ions. Physiological conditions, pH. Most of the cell lines grow best near 7.4 pH. Normal fibroblasts grow best between 7.4 and 7.7. Transformed cells grow better at pH 7.0 to 7.4 and epidermal cells are known to grow best near pH 5.5. Temperature. Requirement of optimum temperature depends on the body temperature of the source animal. Human cells are cultured at 37 degrees centigrade. Cells from birds are cultured at 38.5 degrees centigrade. Temperature also influences the pH of the medium as it influences the solubility of carbon dioxide and its dissociation. Osmolality. It is important to maintain the osmotic balance of the cells and its environment for prolonged survival and growth. Normally, the cells are cultured in the osmolality range of 260 to 320 milliosmoles per kg, which is near to the human plasma 290 milliosmoles per kg. The preferred osmotic concentration of the medium should be maintained throughout the cell growth. Buffering. Culture medium should be buffered to neutralize the effect of carbon dioxide evolution and lactic acid production due to cellular metabolism. Bicarbonate and Hippus buffer are normally used for buffering the medium. Chemical requirements. Culture medium. Culturing of animal cells requires well defined medium. The medium constituents vary with the type of cells need to be cultured. It contains various nutrient supplements in the balanced salt solution. Amino acids, vitamins, serum, salts, glucose, organic supplements, antibiotics, hormones and growth factors are the major constituents. Eagle in 1950 to 1960 formulated a medium after studying the nutritional requirements of the cell for the first time. Some of the commonly used culture medium are EMEM, Eagle's minimal essential medium, DMEM, Delbeco's modification of Eagle's medium, GMEM, Glasgow's modified Eagle's medium. RPMI 1630 and RPMI 1640, media from Roswell Park Memorial Institute. Balanced salt solution. Balanced salt solution BSS is composed of all the inorganic salts essential for survival of animal cells. It forms the base for any culture medium. It also provides suitable physiological pH and osmolality to the cells. Glucose, bicarbonate and Hippus buffer is also added in some of the formulations. Earl's basil salt solution and Hank's basil salt solution are the most widely used balanced salt solutions. Energy sources. Carbohydrates are the major energy sources used in the culture medium. Glucose, maltose, sucrose, fructose and galactose are commonly added in the medium. Glutamine is also used as an energy source in certain cases. Amino acids. All essential and non-essential amino acids are added in the culture medium for efficient cellular synthesis. Vitamins. B group vitamins are essentially required by the cells for synthesis of various cofactors: biotin, folic acid, nicotinic acid, pantothenic acid, pyridoxal, riboflavin, thiamine and inositol are added in the medium according to the cellular requirement. Hormones and growth factors. Medium which is supplemented with serum does not require addition of hormones and growth factors, whereas serum free medium needs to be supplemented with these ingredients according to the cell grown. Nerve growth factor, epidermal growth factor, insulin like growth factor, colony stimulating factor, fibroblast growth factor, platelet derived growth factor, etc. are added in the medium. Proteins and peptides. Some cells require protein supplements for growth such as alpha globulin, fibronectin, albumin and transferrin. These proteins are present in the serum which helps in cell attachment and growth. Antibiotics. Antibiotics which previously were used in the culture medium in order to avoid microbial contamination are usually avoided these days. Commonly used antibiotics were penicillin, streptomycin and gentamicin. Amphotericin B and nystatin were used as antifungal agents. The advances in maintaining aseptic conditions have enabled the exclusion of antibiotics in the medium. Moreover, the use of antibiotics leads to the problem of development of drug resistant microbes and interference in the metabolic activities of the cultured cells. Serum. Serum, a natural body fluid, is rich in numerous nutritive and growth factors. It contains carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, hormones, organic and inorganic compounds essential for growth of the cell. Most of the culture media are supplemented with 5 to 10% of the serum. The serum free medium should be supplemented with all the ingredients which are present in the serum. Establishment of primary culture. Many different types of cells from animal sources can be cultured by adopting suitable method. Cells from humans, mouse, monkey and chicks have been grown in cultures. Numerous established cell lines have been developed from these sources. Cells growing on a medium for more than 24 hours which have been directly taken from any animal source is a primary culture. It refers to the growth of animal cells initiated on an artificial medium using any tissue or organ. It is developed by dissecting, disaggregating or enzymatic treatment of the organs or tissues. These cells cultured in vitro till its first subculture is known as a primary culture. Cells in primary culture are morphologically similar to the parent tissue. Primary culture contains several types of cells derived from the source tissue. Medium used for primary culture should be rich in nutrients such as amino acids, micronutrients and hormones as already discussed. These cells exhibit a limited lifespan and after a certain period of time they enter a non-proliferative state called senescence and eventually they die out. This may also happen because of depletion of nutrients and accumulation of toxic metabolites. These cells require a surface for attachment in order to survive and proliferate. They grow as single cell layers, also known as monolayer cultures. These cells stop growing when they attain confluence. This property is known as contact inhibition. Undifferentiated cells are commonly used for establishment of primary culture. It is convenient to develop primary culture from embryonic tissue than from a newborn or adult tissue. This difference is clearly because of the presence of undifferentiated cells in the embryonic tissue. Presence of large number of pluripotent stem cells in the embryonic tissue enables successful establishment of the primary culture. These cells possess high multiplicative capacity. The adult tissues contain large amount of connective and fibrous tissue. Newborn and adult tissue contains higher percentage of differentiated cells and lesser number of undifferentiated cells. The differentiated cells possess lesser capacity to divide and form new tissues and organs. The cells which can be used from adult tissues for establishment of the cell cultures are the adult stem cells. These are the undifferentiated cells present in differentiated tissue. They possess the capacity to develop into any cell of that particular organ or tissue in which they are present. They cannot form all the types of organs or tissue, whereas pluripotent cells can form whole tissue. Primary cell cultures are of usually two types: anchorage dependent or adherent cells and suspension cultures or anchorage independent cells. First, anchorage dependent or adherent cells. The normal cells derived from any fresh tissue require a support or surface to attach. This property is referred as anchorage dependence, and these cells are known as anchorage dependent cells. The cells taken from any normal tissue other than hematopoietic system require anchor for growth. These cells are usually derived from tissues or organs such as kidney, where they are immobile or rooted in a connective tissue. Suspension cultures or anchorage independent cells. The cells which do not require support surface for growth are known as anchorage independent cells. The cells derived from blood systems or transformed, that is tumor cells, grow in suspension and are known as suspension cultures. Cells such as lymphocytes are freely suspended in plasma. Initiation of primary culture. The animal which will serve as a source of cells is dissected and the tissue of interest is isolated. Fats and necrotic tissue must be removed during dissection and chopping should be done with sharp instruments. The isolated tissue is then disaggregated for the establishment of primary culture. Disaggregation can be done by either primary explant technique, enzymatic methods or mechanical methods. Primary explant technique. This is the early method devised by Harrison in 1907 and then by Carroll in 1902 for initiating cell culture. This method involves inserting a small fragment of tissue in a drop of blood plasma or lymph kept on a cover slip. Plasma is nutritionally enriched by addition of embryo extract and serum. A concavity slide is inserted over this cover slip. The heterologous serum induces clotting of plasma. This method is helpful in the cases where the sample size is very small. Most of the cells take up nutrients and start migrating for growth. An alternative approach adapted was the addition of nutrient medium on the plasma clot for facilitating migration. This method is adopted in some cases with minor modifications also. Enzymatic disaggregation. The tissue used for development of primary culture has to be separated into very fine fragments in order to let the cells free for migration and growth. The cells in any tissue or organ are tightly bound to each other through the basement membrane and connective tissue. The intercellular matrix must be dissociated to set the cells free. Proteases, hyaluronidases and heparinases are used for degrading the intercellular matrix and basement membrane. Trypsin is commonly used for degrading the protein content. Enzymatic treatment of tissue leads to cell dispersion. These cells are then introduced in a medium for initiation of a primary culture. The enzymes used for disaggregation are trypsin, papain, elastase, hyaluronidase, collagenase, DNase, pronase, dispase, etc. Most commonly used are trypsin and collagenase. Trypsin, collagenase, elastase, pronase, dispase, DNase and hyaluronidases are the mammalian enzymes, and trypsin, TrpLE, acutase, Acumax are the non-mammalian enzymes used for disaggregation of the tissue. They are also used in various combinations. Trypsinization. Application of trypsin for tissue dissociation is known as trypsinization. Crude or pure form of trypsin preparations can be used for disaggregating the tissue. Crude preparations yield more number of isolated cells because of the presence of other proteases also. Pure trypsin is less toxic and more specific in action. The residual crude trypsin can be neutralized by adding serum. The tissue is finely chopped and treated with trypsin. It is usually done by two methods: cold trypsinization and warm trypsinization. First, cold trypsinization. This method involves trypsinization of tissue with cold pre-exposure. This process reduces the damage to cells. The tissue is kept in the vials soaked in cold trypsin and kept on ice bath. Trypsin is removed after an incubation period of 6 to 18 hours. The pieces of treated tissue are introduced in a medium at 37 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. The suspended cells are recovered for culturing. Warm trypsinization. The chopped tissue is washed with basil salt solution and suspended in trypsin solution in a conical flask at 37 degrees centigrade. The tissue is incubated for 4 hours. The supernatant is collected after every 30 minutes. The supernatant contains dissociated cells which are recovered for culturing. Collagenase. Collagen is one of the most abundant structural proteins present in the intracellular matrix. Collagenase helps in separation of cells by digesting the collagen. Use of collagenase releases the cells from several normal and malignant tissues which cannot be treated with trypsin for culturing. The tissue is suspended in a basil salt solution containing antibiotics and chopped into small pieces. The tissue fragments are washed and transferred into a medium containing collagenase for 1 to 5 days. After incubation, the dispersed cells are recovered for culturing. Human brain, lung, tumors, epithelial cells and fibroblastic cells can be dispersed by this method. Collagenase is used in combination with hyaluronidase, neuraminidase or trypsin for certain tissues. Mechanical methods. Mechanical methods involve cutting, dissecting or macerating the tissue for establishment of primary culture. Disaggregation of soft tissues, for example, brain, spleen, soft tumors, embryonic liver, etc., can be done by mechanical methods. This is a simple, quick and less expensive method. Various mechanical methods are used for disaggregating the tissues, like scraping. The tissue is scraped to release cells in the suspension. Splicing. Chopping of the tissue is done with sharp edged instruments. Sieving. Tissue is pressed through sieves of different sizes to obtain separated cells. Pipetting. Repeated pipetting of the macerated tissue is done to obtain separated cells. Syringing. Forcing a tissue fragment through a syringe. These methods can be employed when the sample is large enough and the loss of tissue in the form of damaged cells is acceptable. The number of viable cells obtained by this method will be comparatively lesser. After disaggregation of the tissue, the dispersed cells are introduced in a suitable nutrient medium for growth. Some of the cells adapt to the artificial environment and start growing, and some die out. The cells which start growing in the culture multiply for finite number of generations. This growth of cells achieved is known as primary culture and the process as establishment of primary culture. The cells derived from a normal tissue have a limited lifespan. The cells continue to multiply till they attain confluence in the culture vessel. The cells in primary culture exhibit similar characteristics as those of the cells in normal source tissue. The growth may cease because of shortage of space, depletion of nutrients or accumulation of toxic metabolites. Secondary cell cultures. Secondary culture originates from primary culture. The cells growing in vitro on the medium must be transferred to a fresh medium when the nutrients get exhausted. This is known as subculturing. The culture of cells developed after first subculture is known as secondary cell culture. The cells are transferred from one culture vessel to another due to depletion of nutrients and reduced growth. It is known as passage. The cells are dissociated from the primary culture and transferred. Subculturing is required in order to provide space and fresh nutrients for growth, which leads to their prolonged survival. The culture developed after first passage is the secondary culture. These cultures survive for a few generations and enter into senescence. Cells in secondary culture may also undergo changes due to mutation and exhibit different properties than the parent tissue. Repeated subculturing selects the immortal cells which may appear due to transformation and genetic alteration. Conclusion: culturing of animal cells has been a very helpful tool in research as well as production of healthcare products. The developing cell culture technology shall open new horizons to understand the intricacies of the biological system and production of therapeutics.